A nobleman's head rolled beneath the axe, his voice silenced by betrayal as Sir Walter Raleigh met a gruesome end in 1618. Once a darling of Queen Elizabeth I, his ambition turned to treachery under King James I, his plot unraveling in a web of deceit. How did a celebrated explorer's glory descend into a blood-soaked scaffold? Step into the shadow-drenched courts of Tudor England with tales of torment, where we unveil a truth darker than any sea voyage tale. The executioner's blade gleams, its edge ready to sever a traitor's fate. Dare to uncover the abyss? In the golden year of 1552, a child was born into the rolling hills of Devon, a land of rugged cliffs and restless seas. Walter Raleigh, son of a modest gentry family, grew amidst tales of adventure and the salt air of the coast, his early years shaped by a mother who taught him Latin and a father who dreamed of courtly glory. Tall and striking, with dark eyes and a commanding presence, Walter honed his skills in poetry and swordplay by his teens, his mind ablaze with ambition. In 1569, at 17, he fought for the Huguenots in France, his blade tasting blood in the wars of religion, a prelude to his rise. By 1580, he caught the eye of Queen Elizabeth I, his charm and wit securing him a place at court, his cloak lined with velvet, a symbol of favour. He rose swiftly, knighted in 1585, granted vast estates in Ireland, his name linked to the colonization of Virginia, his ships braving the Atlantic for El Dorado's gold. Elizabeth dubbed him her captain, his poetry serenading her, his explorations funding her treasury, his star a beacon in a glittering court. Yet beneath his success, rivalry brewed. The Earl of Essex, Robert Devereux, clashed with Walter, their enmity a shadow over the palace, each vying for the Queen's ear. In 1603, Elizabeth's death brought James the Fiend to the throne, a king who distrusted Walter's swagger and Catholic leanings, his favour fading like a dying flame. Walter's ambition turned treacherous, his dreams of power leading him to plot against James, whispering with allies to overthrow the king or secure Spanish gold. In 1603, he was accused of treason, his involvement in the main plot, a scheme to replace James with Arabella Stuart, unravelled by spies. Arrested and dragged to the Tower of London, his estate seized, his family shattered, Walter faced a king's wrath, his once bright future darkened by his own hubris. A chronicler wrote, "Raleigh's star fell, his ambition a blade that cut his own throat, his treachery a seed sown in royal soil." In the dank confines of the Tower of London, Walter Raleigh's imprisonment began in 1603, his once lavish life reduced to a cell of cold stone and iron bars. The Tower, a fortress of despair along the Thames, became his cage, its walls echoing with the groans of forgotten prisoners, its air thick with the stench of damp and despair. At 51, Walter's once proud frame weakened, his dark hair streaked with grey, his hands trembling as he penned letters to his wife Bess, begging for mercy from a king who saw him as a threat. James I, distrustful of Walter's Catholic ties and his rivalry with the king's favourites, ordered his confinement, his estates confiscated, his dreams of Virginia's riches shattered. The main plot, a conspiracy to depose James and crown Arabella Stuart, unravelled under the scrutiny of Robert Cecil, the king's spymaster, whose agents uncovered Walter's coded letters and secret meetings with Spanish envoys. For 13 years, Walter languished, his cell a stark contrast to the courtly halls he once graced, his only solace a small garden where he distilled herbal cures, his mind a whirl of defiance and regret. In 1616, James, pressured by debts and war, granted Walter a perilous chance, lead an expedition to Guiana for gold, a mission laced with the promise of freedom or death. Walter sailed with high hopes, his son Wat beside him, but the venture turned to ruin, his men clashing with Spanish forces, Wat killed in battle, the gold a mirage. Returning in 1618, Walter faced a king's fury, his pardon revoked, his plot exposed as a failure that cost lives. The tower tightened its grip, his health fading, his spirit battered by the loss of his son and the weight of betrayal. Guards taunted him, their laughter a knife in his pride, while Cecil's reports painted him as a traitor beyond redemption. Walter wrote his history of the world, its pages a testament to his intellect, but also a cry against a king who turned ally to enemy. A chronicler noted, Raleigh's cell became his crucible, his plot a noose that tightened with each dawn, his downfall a mirror of royal deceit. On October 29, 1618, Sir Walter Raleigh faced his final hour on a scaffold in Old Palace Yard, Westminster, a stage for a king's vengeance. A crowd of thousands gathered, their breaths sharp in the autumn air, their faces a mix of awe and scorn, as the once celebrated knight, now 66, stepped forward, his step faltering yet proud. Dressed in a black velvet gown, his grey hair tied back, Walter carried himself with a dignity that silenced the jeers, his dark eyes scanning the throng as if searching for a lost era. The executioner, a burly man with a steady hand, tested his axe, its edge gleaming under a grey sky, the crowd murmuring of Raleigh's past glories, his voyages, his poetry, his fall. Walter spoke, his voice clear, addressing the crowd with a wit that defied his fate. This is a sharp remedy, but a sure one for all evils, a jest that drew gasps and laughter. He laid his head on the block, refusing a blindfold, his neck bared with a grace that shamed his accusers. The axe fell once, a clean strike severing his head, blood pooling on the straw, his body slumping as the crowd fell silent, some weeping, others cheering James's justice. The executioner held up the head, its eyes closed, a final image of a man undone by his own ambition. His body was buried in St. Margaret's Church, but his head, preserved by Bess, became a relic of his legacy, a grim trophy carried by his widow until her death. The tower's stones bore no mark of his confinement, his name erased from court rolls, yet his end lingered in London's taverns, a tale of a knight betrayed by time. A chronicler wrote, Raleigh's head fell, his spirit a ghost of Tudor glory, his death a testament to a king's cold hand. Walter Raleigh's treacherous downfall left a scar on England's history, his name a whisper of ambition and regret that outlasted his severed head. James I seized his estates, their wealth funding a throne he distrusted, yet Raleigh's legacy endured, his writings, his explorations, a map of Virginia still bearing his name. No shrines rose for him, no songs sang his later deeds, but his story spread through courts and colonies, a warning of ambition's perilous edge. His rivalry with Essex, once a courtly game, turned to ash, his fall a mirror of a dynasty's end under Elizabeth's shadow. The main plot, though failed, fueled tales of intrigue, its echoes reaching beyond 1618, a spark for future rebellions. His death, a clean cut unlike the botched ends of others, became a symbol of Tudor justice warped by Stuart rule, a transition that marked England's shifting power. Raleigh's end mirrors the dark cost of pride, where a single plot ignites a chain of ruin, where loyalty to a queen turns to betrayal by her successor. As a knight and courtier, he faced his own making, his sword a tool of both discovery and doom. His execution warns us that glory's peak can crumble into treachery, its blood a price paid on the scaffold of ambition. Walter Raleigh's downfall was more than an execution. It was a treacherous unravelling of a courtier's dream, carved in ambition and sealed by the axe. His head rolling on the scaffold, his son's death in Guiana, the shadow of the tower haunt history's corridors, a testament to a knight's fall from grace. From Devon's shores to the courts of London, his life was a tapestry of glory and greed, his demise a chilling echo that lingers in the past. His tale, a forgotten drama, burns bright amid the shadows of Tudor legacy. Crave more spine-chilling stories? Subscribe to Tales of Torment and dive into our next video about the gruesome fate of a medieval outcast. Don't let these dark secrets fade into the silence of time. Was Walter a traitor, undone by pride, or a victim of James I's jealousy? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the shadows of history.